That's right. We're right across the river from Palestine, as a matter of fact, here in Aqaba, the new mall.
When the adhan is called, it doesn't matter where you are. You go and you make your salah, alhamdulillah.
Now, I think this is something that, inshallah ta'ala, we'll all be able to benefit from.
Log in now and make your contribution today to support your favorite project at Donate.
Hey, you already know how to support Guidance TV. All you got to do is go to the website, Donate Islam, do your thing, and we'll keep doing our thing. And everybody will stay guided with Guidance TV. Now, we had to move some things around the last couple of days, so excuse the broadcasting last night. We had a big blip in there, and then we went off for about a minute or so. And we're going to try to see if we can get it to work correctly tonight. All right? Now, this is an important night because we have our doctors with us. Dr. Ado, all the way from Tampa, Florida. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Buccaneers. What's wrong? Tom Brady. What made history? Super Bowl.
Well, yeah. Excuse me, but not everybody here in California was rooting for the Buccaneers, okay? Not everybody. I'm looking around at the room, and there's some real big frowns going on here.
Everybody's celebrating it, yeah. That was a big, big night. All
right. Well, I guess we also have, from the middle of the United States, we have Dr. Sultan. Dr. Sultan, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. How's everything going there? Everything okay?
You passed so quickly that I didn't realize that I'm on again. And meeting with you and having some nice conversation and some nice information.
Well, there is a hadith of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam telling us in the last days that time will go very fast, but the ones who will notice it will be the true believers. So maybe, I hope that includes us.
Inshallah. Inshallah.
Inshallah. Tell us a little bit about what's going on there in St. Louis, Missouri.
Well, it is extremely, extremely cold. You've got to bundle up as much you can, and with gloves and with caps and heavy coats, and it's just awfully freezing. It was like 16 degrees in the morning. Boy.
Wow.
I wish I didn't go to work, but it worked out okay. It worked out okay. Just bundled up and went to work, and it was just a little slippery when I came this evening. It was slippery in a little snow, but it came out okay. Allah's blessing.
Well, if you are okay with all that snow, then I'm okay with that. But please don't send me don't email me any snow right now, please. All right.
I can send you a lot of heat, which is left the area, probably has gone your way. You see.
Yeah, well, we had some nice warm weather, and I'd like to keep it that way. We said, it's real chilly. Oh, it's so cold. It's down in the 60s. MashaAllah.
What is winter for you? It is summer for us. 60 is summer for us.
Okay, well, I think we've got to get back over to Dr. Adil, because I don't want him to feel like we forgot about him. Dr. Adil, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How's everything there in Tampa, Florida?
Beautiful, beautiful weather. I have to admit, 75. Beautiful, nice breeze, so I can take a nice walk. Very, very nice.
Yeah, I hope you like it because I don't know about the weather, how long it's going to hold for you guys. Let's see. It's not hurricane season, but no, we're the ones that get the earthquakes. So wow, there's the hadith the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam telling us in the last days. Now, I already mentioned something that he said the time would go back real quickly, but only the true believers would notice that. The other thing that he was saying is that the earthquakes will become harder and faster in between until the real great earthquake. We're in California. That's the land of the earthquakes. You know that, right?
Yes, yes. And subhanAllah, I know that Saturday night, midnight, it rained like nonstop with thunder and lightning and rain. Fajr, there was a little flood in the masjid. People come for prayer, and then people say, well, what's going to happen to the Super Bowl? With this weather, I don't think anybody can really play. It's not safe, this and that. And then by later afternoon on Sunday, sunshine, beautiful weather, beautiful, like after rain, everything becomes so clear and so beautiful with the sunshine. So it's very unusual weather, but alhamdulillah, take what you get.
Well, maybe I don't know, but maybe that's what threw the chiefs off of it, the weather changing and messing around with their head. I don't know. What do you think?
Anytime there's rain, make a lot of dua, because the doors of heaven are wide open during the time of rain.
That's beautiful hadith. The beautiful hadith of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam telling us about making the dua in the rain, and that's a wonderful thing to do. Really, ready. I'm ready for that. Alhamdulillah.
Yes.
More rain, more dua, success.
Couple of months away from Ramadan, so everybody's like warming up now, going to the gym, spiritual gym.
Well, okay, yeah, I like that idea, the spiritual gym. MashaAllah.
Yeah.
Well, alhamdulillah for everything. We've got, even though we had to make some adjustments in our broadcasting, we've got now we've got the Quran over here. See that? We got that right. Yeah, and used to you guys see the green screen, but now look at this. See, that's the real deal. The real deal. Yeah. And the flowers back here. Yeah, I got to water the flowers and everything. Anyway, so let's pick up where we kind of left off. We're talking about the vaccines, what's happening with the vaccinations. And also, I've been reading that in the UK, they're very worried over there about the possibility of the strains of this COVID thing coming in, that they're saying that some of these vaccines are not going to be effective to help that, to prevent that. What can you tell us, Doctor, on this right now, Dr. Adil?
Well, here's the updates. AstraZeneca, they were also developing a vaccine that they have to stop trial in South Africa because it was not effective against the variant of coronavirus. No. Yes, there is a concern about the new variant and whether the vaccine will work as effective or not, and whether the delay in the vaccination will accelerate the development of new mutations of the virus. And to be honest with you, they're projecting by mid-March, the new variant is going to be dominant in the U.S. It's already here. in the U.S. in different areas, but it may become kind of taken over and be dominant version of the coronavirus, if you would, and that puts us back to really. I think we should go in two parallel things. Yes, we can get the vaccination because I don't think they're going to have time to alter, the composition of the vaccination to meet the changes and new changes now and the variants that's going to happen just to keep up with that. But we also have to look very closely into ivermectin. We talked about it last week as an effective therapy for prevention and the treatment of coronavirus. And now people are going crazy buying the stuff on Amazon and on various writing prescription pharmacies and so on and so forth, although they did not get the FDA approval yet for coronavirus. It is approved as an antiparasitic agent, for parasites and scabies, and malaria. So far this is the latest on what's happening, and then this could be endless kind of catch up.
So what of the viruses right now, which one are you thinking that's going to be the best for us to get? I don't think we got a choice, but if we had a choice, what would be the best one?
The two vaccines that are FDA approved right now, they're both comparable as far as 95% efficacy. Both the one that approved by Pfizer, FDA approved by manufactured by Pfizer, and BioNTech that the Turkish couple in Germany had developed. And the second one is by Moderna. They're both, are in. I think there was agreement signed to have 200 million doses ready to go into people's arms. But the third player is Johnson & Johnson, although the efficacy is not that good. It's in the 60s compared to 95%. They're trying to, get in as well into the market and get a piece of the market. A vaccine, vaccination market, and we'll see how everything will play out. But I believe that ultimately, while we're doing this, vaccination, just to get as much protection, we need to look into the therapy, the definitive therapy that will give people strong, immunity, but looking ahead in terms of the variants and continuous mutations, we have to look ultimately into one thing, which is strengthening the immune system, period.
What do you think is the best way to do that right now? What can I suppose that somebody just woke up right now and said, hey, I want to affect my immune system in a positive way. What could I do right this minute?
Sure. Well, there is daily regimen that people can start doing it, which include ginger, honey, lemon, black seed, and the apple cider vinegar as well. All these things are, very powerful killers of coronavirus. In addition to at least 30 minutes exposure to sunshine, the ultraviolet rays will also kill, coronavirus. And important to other things, vitamin C, zinc, good nutrition, good sleep, clean, nutrition and water and food, like Dr. Sultan always emphasized, that is going to be, in addition to obviously stress management and mental health. Putting it all together, that what constitutes the ultimate kind of protection. So it's a physical wellness, psychological wellness, mental wellness, and work on improving the social contact and support, because that's critical. When people are alone, they tend to be very depressed and very down and anxious, and that by itself could be worse than the coronavirus.
Okay, wait a minute. Now you're saying that a person's feelings can affect their immune system?
Absolutely. And then the way that you have a project, that on the interactions and on the personal level, on the family and the community at large, it all comes from how you are, looking at this. This could be, a good thing or positive or a real bad and horrible thing. Well, for believers, to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah that controls everything, and then give this as a test. So if a believer have patience, they'll get double, and triple, and multiple rewards. And Allah will turn every hardship into ease if you hang in there and have that patience and continue to ask God for support and help. And if somebody just, not connected with Allah, this will just keep on, exploding because it's manipulated. All these negative feelings and all this doom and gloom and all that will turn into a disease by itself. And unfortunately, that will put people into booze, into drugs, and to more lethal things than even coronavirus.
So, in addition to you're talking about the black seed and the honey and ginger. I want to put up an image there for everybody to get an idea of the black seed, honey, and ginger. By the way, I use this all the time myself, even though that we're kind of in a position right now, we kind of had to leave our home while they're changing out the pipes. But I wanted to bring some stuff along with us so that we could maintain this. And one of the things that I like about it is that I do feel comfortable with the black seed. It makes me feel like I'm doing something positive. And I was kind of hoping that this would be something that you would kind of endorse that. And I was happy to hear that you're saying that this is something. But when you start talking about the person's feelings, what can somebody do about that when they can't go out and get along with their normal life? That's an adjustment for some people, isn't it?
Yes. We as say, people can do remembrance of Allah, dhikrillah, to be connected with God, prayer, and Quran, and exercise, meditation. Call up friends, neighbors, and if you feel like you need professional help, there's support lines, that you can call or text, and we've been repeatedly mentioning those numbers. And you can also seek professional help with psychiatrists or psychologists if ever needed. But don't let yourself be consumed by negativity that will keep on escalating to the point that will be self-destruction.
Okay, well, Dr. Sultan, I'd like to get you in on all of this too, as well. Salam alaikum, doctor.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My take on this is the following. Yes, all what Dr. Adil is mentioning is important, but I want to present in a practical way that people can very easily remember and do. And I have, it's called 5F formula for our priorities. You see, we have to take care of our priorities. And in this area of loneliness and dissociation from people and being all alone by self is creating heck lot of stress. So this is my formula for having a balance in our lives. You see, there's two things we need to remember. One is the goals, and the number two is the priorities. Goals keep changing. When you're a little kid, you have different goals. When you grew older, went to work, different goals. When you got married, different goals. Goals keep changing. But there is one thing is called priorities should never ever change. If they change, our life becomes upset and we develop all sorts of physical and mental ailments. And very easy to remember those priorities are with alphabet F, 5 Fs. Like a Chinese, write down 5 Fs down the line. F, 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 F. The first F is for faith. You got to thank Allah Ta'ala what you have, and also thank Allah Ta'ala what you don't have. So in this at times it reminds me of one of the prophetic stories in which Hazrat Ayub alayhi salam, when he had all the money, everything, with him, and he was a very rich man. And then Allah Ta'ala gradually took away his wealth, gradually took away his family, and every adversity, he said, thank God, now I got more time to dedicate to Allah Ta'ala and more time to dedicate to Allah Ta'ala. The less worldly responsibilities he was left, the more he was inclined towards Allah Ta'ala. So that's number one is faith. We got to have plenty of time to thank Allah Ta'ala what we have and we don't, and have time to remember. Number two is family. So we should see in these times that whatever family needs are. For example, if your parents are living farther away in this COVID infection, do what you can do for them to be of support to them, and also be support within your family. Now you can spend more time with your family, with your husband, your wife, and the children, because all the time that you used to use on socialization, that time is left on to you. So you can focus on the second thing, the family. The third thing is the fitness. Oh, you may be forgetting to take care of that important exercise or that important part of your diet because you're so busy in your work. Now pay attention to your diet, pay attention to your exercise, pay attention to your rest. So that is your fitness needs. The fourth thing is financing. Pay attention to all this. If you're a professional and you have this time at hand, see what you can do, what skills you can learn, what other things you can learn that you can be more proficient in your practice, in your business, or in your endeavor, whatever you're making. And the fifth thing is friends. You got to have time for your friends. And when you don't have, and now it is you can go, you got plenty of time. You can FaceTime with people, you can audio call, you can video call. There's so many ways of keeping your friendship over there. Now, when I'm giving you these 5 priorities, now let's say that you're blessed, Allah Ta'ala has blessed you with family, has blessed you with faith, has blessed you with money and everything else. One F I forgot was finances, and that is you got to work to have, and that was the thing I was talking about. That you can learn more skill to be able to make yourself more proficient. So now you got first 4 things, but you got no friends. You're the most miserable single human being on this planet Earth. What good is your life is going to be really going? Let's say that you got everything else, but you don't have fitness because you did not take care of yourself the way you should have. And everything else, money, everything, what good is your life? So anything you out of these 5 priorities, you take it and your life becomes miserable. Take the faith out of it. What good is your life? So my advice is please pay attention to these 5 priorities, and these are the basis for mental peace, calmness, tranquility, and overall well-being and satisfaction, self-satisfaction. Does it make sense?
It makes a lot of sense to me. I'm wondering what you would advise for somebody who just found out about the immune system and how it works, and they would say, hey, what do I need to do to immediately get on the program? Would it be these 5 things or that you mentioned, or would it be something
no.
First thing?
Very good question. Yes, these 5, you can start with the 5 things, but now you're talking about the element of fitness. So let's talk about the element. It is nothing that you can go and buy the immunity in the market. You can't do that, you see. But what you can do is you can start thinking, learning about how to improve your overall health and your overall immunity. There are a lot of things that come into picture. The first thing what is start with a healthy diet. All the things, taking vitamin, mineral, this and that, all those things. But start with a healthy diet. This is one of the biggest problems which we have in the United States is that our nutrition is really, really poor. When we do nutrition analysis, we see that the people are so low in basic, very, very basic nutrients like calcium, magnesium, vitamin D, and zinc, and a few other minerals. So, and the reason for that is are numerous, but what you can do is learn how to eat healthy. And this is what I emphasize again and again. There are three elements of your lifestyle. Number one, clean air. Number two, clean food. And number three, clean water. So
okay, doctor, we didn't hear number one because there was a glitch in the sound.
Right.
What was number one?
Number one was clean air. Number two, clean food. And number three, clean water. So let's start with
clean air. Talk about that.
Clean air. Well, if you're smoking, you don't have a clean air, okay? All right, so you got to do and take care of that. Number two, if you have a gas stove in the house, many people unfortunately have and do not realize that this is a very major part of air pollution, because when you have gas stove in the house, the amount of chemical pollution produced is 300 to 400% more than the worst smog that you talk about like California. So you start with clean air, there's no smoking, no gas stove. And number three, these cleaning products they use, Lysol, Pine Sol, paint, etc., Windex, all Clorox. You got to get into the green products to take care of those things. Unperfumed, there are a lot of, go to health food store, you will find cleaning product, this and that. And another very important area of air pollution is people put in their houses those Vicks or deodorants in the plug or otherwise.
Doctor, we don't understand what you're saying. The last part of there's a popping noise in there, and we couldn't. You said something about something that is in the air. What?
Yes.
What is it?
Yes. Is it okay from my end, or was there some other popping? My end should be okay. But anyway.
I don't know, doctor, but go ahead. Tell something in the air.
I was talking about people use air fresheners in their house.
Air freshener, okay.
But that is a beautiful word for air pollution. You have, let's say you have some odor in the house from some reason, you take another chemical and add on top of that, and you call it air freshener. Well, there's an air polluter. You're adding one pollution on top of another pollution. So that's not the answer. So I was just talking about these are a few most important air pollution in the house. That if you have these things, you're not having clean air. Okay. So now the second most important thing is most people are victim of SAD diet. What is a SAD diet? The standard American diet, full of additives, preservatives, coloring dyes, canned meats, canned fruits, canned vegetables. They're all very inferior foods. So what you should do is learn, if you got nothing out of this program today, if you get this thing out of that, that will help improve your immunity better than anything else can do. And that is learn to eat what rots and do it before it does. Eat what will rot and do it before it does. Means fresh meats, fruits, vegetables, green beans. Avoid edited preservatives coloring dyes, canned meats, canned foods, canned vegetables. So if you can do this thing, don't think in terms of hamburger, pies, and fries, you see. Think in terms of how the foods come in. The food comes in the form, I'll give you a few categories. Meats, okay? You can have meats of all kinds except luncheon meats and other processed meats which are preserved in the corn sugar and other things in there. Chicken's fresh beef, fresh chicken, fresh lamb, fresh dough, fresh fish. Prepare whatever you want to do with herbs and spices to make it delicious. Same with the vegetables. Get the fresh vegetables. You see, from the periphery of the grocery store. Fruits, get fresh fruits. Herbs and spices, put them in vegetables and meats to make it delicious. So prepare the foods at home, and you cannot beat the nutritional value of this food as compared to any commercial, any restaurant or other entity foods. So, and avoid sugar. Sugar is, we may not realize that, but sugar is one of the most important suppressor of our immune system. You see, instead of sugar, you can use fresh fruit. You can eat sweet foods. Those are okay. But white sugar, brown sugar, they're all sugar. You know, the corn sugar, corn syrup, these kind of things should be avoided. A better substitute, as Dr. Adil mentioned, honey. If you want to use it, you can use honey or use maple syrup. Those are the healthy sweeteners that you can use. So, clean water, simple. What should you drink? Soda? No soda. You see, you drink what animals drink. And what do they drink? Water. And I tell my patients to be smarter than animals and drink clean water, not black water, soda and stuff like that. So that is the one most important aspect of clean air, clean food, clean water. Nothing can give you better immunity than these things. Then all of the things, nutrition and other things, are add on into this. If you get this wholesome food, you will get a lot of nutrition, but still maybe other nutrients you need. But that is the starting point. So what do I do starting today to improve my immunity? Start with clean air, clean food, clean water. So these are the very important basics to get started. There are a lot of other things as we go into our discussion. We will, and I do not want to go on and on and on. So I'm just going to let people think about it. If you have any questions, give us a call. Doc, what do you mean by playing? I got this. Do you think that it is a good practice to do, or similarly about food or water or anything?
Doctor,
you have any questions?
You referred to smoking in your talk just now. How bad is smoking for us?
Terribly. There are 3,000 to 4,000 chemicals in the cigarette smoke. This is one of the worst addiction there is. You would believe, this is just like the street drugs. This is very high on the list of addiction. I have seen people who have addicted. I mean, that it causes lung cancer and throat cancer and or cardiovascular disease and so on and so forth. I have seen people addicted to nicotine that they had oropharyngeal cancer. They had operated. They cannot breathe. They had a tracheal tube. They would put a cigarette in the tracheal tube and try to smoke that way. It's such a terrible, terrible addiction and responsible for both physical and as mental illness. So it is one of the biggest curses that you can have as a habit. And now on top of this vaping business has come, and they put flavors in there which are really toxic chemicals. They're causing irreparable lung injury in young people as early as 18, 20, 15, whatever age. They start vaping. Vaping is even worse than the smoking. So these are all these. We got to avoid all these addictions. These are the things that will build up your immunity. You can't go in the market and buy immunity. These are the simple, common sense things you do which will help to improve your immunity.
So vaping is no good.
No.
I thought it replaced cigarette smoking. Wouldn't be so bad on you.
Well, you're right. You're going to save money and save your health, and you will save yourself from a lot of misery. Look at the smokers. Even if they don't have a serious problem, they're coughing, difficulty in breathing, and flame, whatnot. People don't like to sit next to a smoker with all the stinking odors. And
yeah, but vaping is not better than smoking?
It's worse.
No, it's worse than that, because it has they've added so many different chemicals to that to increase cosmetic flavors. But all these quote unquote flavors, they're man-made chemicals. So they're man-made chemicals, that they are toxic chemicals, causing irreparable lung injury and even death.
We heard when it first started out, we'd heard so much about vaping replaced cigarette smoke. It was healthy, it was good for you, and now you're saying it's not?
Well, that's a marketing. USA is the best marketers in the world are born in the USA. If you don't believe it, there's one thing you do is go to New Delhi and stand over there at the airport, and you see how many 747s or 767 or 777, they land. Good marketing. We can sell anything and everything. So this is just marketing. So you have to be careful about capitalism. You see,
Yeah.
I am for capitalism, but in a way that this is where I'm against. You see, in capitalism, number one, I win, you lose. I win, you lose. No, it should be a win-win situation. You see, now to all the last 50, 60, 70 years, we have created so many chemicals in our environment. Now, some industries are coming in as bringing green products as compared with the chemical product, because now they are in a win-win situation. They sell you clean products, you use it, it is health promoting, and at the same time they make money. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. But bring out these products like Lysol, with toxic cleaning products, and they make the money and you lose your health. So that is, which I think is unethical.
Maybe sometime you could give us an advance notice so we'd have the images of the various kinds of things that you recommend to do and the things you recommend not to do. That would be helpful, because trying to find stuff on the internet while you're speaking is by the time we get it up, you're already on to another subject. So we're going to take a quick break right now, and we're going to be right back right after this. So guys, pay attention and stay guided with Guidance TV. We'll be right back. Worship the Creator, not the creation. That's what Guidance TV is all about. And now we have the new app, guideus.app. Download the app, and it will take up no space on your device. Works on all devices, all phones, all tablets, all computers, anywhere there's internet, it works. And there's more. If you want to know who that creator is, if you want to share the message of worship the Creator, not the creation, you can just as easily tell anybody, anywhere, download the app. Just go to the browser, type in the word guideus.app. Simple. Install it. And no ads, no spam, no commercials, no space on your device. Win, win, win. all the way around. And if you want to know more about that creator, let me tell you, it's like a pen, a simple pen. That's the story. If you have a pen and I ask you to borrow it, and I'm writing something, and you say, wait a minute, I don't want to leave this guy because he's got my pen. And when I get done, I put it all back together, I hand it to you, and you walk off. All right. You got that? But what would happen if this pen didn't write anymore? You throw it away. Why? Because it doesn't do its purpose. What is its purpose? To write. If it doesn't write, who needs a pen that doesn't write? And that is the message of our purpose in life with our Creator. He said in the Quran, in Surah Al-Dariyat, chapter 55, verse 56, very clear that He only created the human beings and the jinn for one purpose. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونِ. He only created us to worship Him alone. And if we don't do that, just like the pen, do something regular, every month, do something, whatever you can do. Don't stop, because that's what will keep this going even after I'm gone. And this is what I would love to see. I'd love to. Guys, we are back, and hope you weren't hooked on that thing that we were just playing in the middle of it, but I wanted to come back to our program in progress right now with the two doctors. We had Dr. Suleiman, who was telling us very much important things about the immune system. Now I'd like to take a chance to visit with Dr. Adil down in Tampa, Florida, and ask him to speak out about the heart. That's his specialty. And so what about the heart?
We're in the Heart Month, and we're also celebrating in February the African American Month as well, the Black History Month. And I figure it is very appropriate to honor those, really very outstanding and iconic Muslims, and that the Black in the history impacted our entire, legacy of Islam. And a few names just to mention with Ayman, who raised Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he used to call her mom, mother, till she died. We have also Bilal, the mu'adhin, the one who really have a beautiful voice to call on for the prayer, for the adhan. And I've learned, looking at, knowledge, and this straight from Mishka University, one of the nice, Islamic universities that gives a lot of knowledge. There's a hero, his name is Ubaidah ibn Samit, who actually led the delegation of negotiations of this negotiation with the surrender of Egypt. From the Archbishop of Egypt, his name was Cyrus. So this Cyrus told everybody, take away this black man. I will never have any discussion with him. So the members of the delegation a Muslim delegation came and told him, you can either talk to him or talk to no one. He's the best and noblest of us. This is referring to Ubaidah. So Ubaidah ended up being the one who actually ended up with the negotiations and ended up the surrender from the Roman, Archbishop Cyrus into Islam. And then 4 decades later, the ruler of Egypt, whose name was Kafur, and Kafur and Naqshband, he was basically the man that 4 decades later, he was in charge of the ruler of Egypt, and he was also a black man. He was a black Muslim. So those are the people. I come from Egypt, and those were the people who introduced Islam to Egypt, and then I'm a final product of what they have been doing as heroes, that we should always remember them and pray for them, and really, really, really honor the contribution of all Muslims from all backgrounds, but certainly the African or Black History Month. We can never ever forget the Black contribution. Not only recently we know Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X and so on, but throughout the Islamic history, that was very, very amazing piece of information that I just wanted to share with everyone. Now shifting gears, this is the Heart Month. So heart disease is still number one killer in the world, affecting everybody. And, far further than what was reported earlier, that the coronavirus superseded, heart disease as a number one killer. But, last week, a report came out from Baylor that Dr. Salim said that this is not true, that the heart disease is still the highest and the biggest, killer in the world. So what is the story for heart disease? And if everybody look and really look at that, and we can follow up with the slides that I sent. I brought here so that people would love to have images that they can actually look and see where it is. And can you? Okay, you look at the slides, and I'm looking here into this. If everybody have a kind of an image in the brain to tell them exactly how the heart disease or plaque buildup takes place. Now, they took a lot of mummies in 2,500 years BC, and they scanned them, and it's called a CAT scanner. And they looked at this, plaque or calcification that is the indirect evidence of heart disease. And they found that in just about all of them from 30 years onwards, they do have plaques. So the heart disease has been around for centuries. But what do we know about now the evidence set? And if you ever born, and you look into this kind of a very simple model that you're actually looking into the arteries, this is when we actually came to life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give us clean arteries, that to start with when we come to life. Then shortly after, because of eating the wrong food and have some other risk factors, and this is what we have to really inculcate in our heads: high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol. So you see this yellow plaque starts to creep up on the lumen of the artery, and it keeps growing and growing, and it comes to a point where a very thin layer that keeps protecting it from getting in touch with the blood flow, if you would, there is an erosion. It's called a plaque rupture. That when that happens, because of so many enzymes that with the increasing size of the plaque, that make this plaque vulnerable to rupture. And when it does rupture, because of the thin cap, all the bad elements that will lead to thrombosis or blood clot formation, the blood clot will come here in the middle and obstruct the blood flow. And that's where people, if it happens in the brain, it will be a brain attack, stroke. If it happens in the heart, it will be heart attack. If it happens, anywhere in the body where the blood flow will stop, that will cause a lot of damage. If you don't restore blood flow within a reasonable period of time, we'll talk about 90 minutes or so, and that's why it's very critical to get to hospital if this situation arises. And there's a lot of coronary disease that's silent. There's about 19 million Americans have heart disease, what's called stable coronary artery disease. The stable coronary artery disease, somebody goes out and have a heavy meal, they start, chest pain, somebody walks, get chest tightness and stops, it goes away. Then when they go back, that's a typical impact of heart disease in men. The women has a totally different, presentation altogether. Women are presented with very vague symptoms. Could be just a tiredness, could be shortness of breath, could be just fatigue and decreased energy level. and that ultimately could be worked up to come to the point that have heart disease. So now that we identified what is heart disease, it's called plaque buildup, and the risk factors that we said, high blood pressure, diabetes, that we need to control, high cholesterol, smoking, alcohol, and physical activity, and obesity that we have to control. There are certain things we cannot control when it comes to the genes, especially when it comes to something called familial hyperlipidemia, that this comes genetically, kind of passed from one generation to another because of the genetic predisposition to a lot of plaque buildup that would lead up. But the good news is, if you intervene early and have some testing done early, and it seems that the best way, and this looks on the slides, and I'm glad you brought these beautiful pictures, and some of them also in the email I just sent, then they will be actually looking at, okay, now I know that I have a plaque, maybe around here at this level. I can do a lot of good to stop the plaque from growing. If you stop the plaque from growing, by what, Doc? By lipid-lowering therapy. If your cholesterol is high, we give medicine to lower it, in addition to the diet and exercise, and getting rid of bad habits, right? Smoking, vaping, alcohol, and we turn this also into antiplatelet therapy, where to prevent the clumping of the platelets, and which is a part of the blood clot. And if we do that early, that can lead to 50% reduction of the future heart attack. Because if you don't intervene early enough in the right time, this may go on to become a clinically significant disease with all the devastating factors of heart disease. And then when the heart attack happens, it gives a damage to the heart muscle that will lead to heart failure, which is worse than cancer. To give you a beautiful, heads up on how we diagnose it and so on, there has been multiple ways to do it, from simple EKG to stress testing to nuclear stress testing. But I believe now the way to go is called CT angio. It's a non-invasive way that can actually reconstruct a 3D image of the coronary arteries, looking exactly inside and see what it is. Sometimes can obviate the need for a invasive cardiac catheterization or angiogram, and then decide based on the anatomy, on how blockage it is and location and so on, divide the best therapy it is. There is more evidence that conservative therapy, with all the risk factor modification, and I'm going to give the medication in a minute, compared to both angioplasty or stents, they have the same outcome in a stable coronary artery disease. So rather than putting 1 million stents, causing billions and billions and billions of dollars, it had the same outcome. It does not affect the mortality, of everybody. And this was proven in 2 trials, the Courage trial in 2007 and Orbita trial in 2015, and verified in 2018. Now the new way of thinking about it, I got to go in, get my evaluation early if I have risk factors. I first stop all the bad things. Then if it is cholesterol is high, I start with medication to lower it in addition to the diet. And then, aspirin and antiplatelet therapy. So if we have other risk factors like high blood pressure, we need to control the high blood pressure because that's a silent killer, and we reviewed that before. And basing on the choice of medications, whether it's an ACE inhibitor or class of medication called ARB, then we can go on, or beta blocker. There's so many families of medication choices that need to be tailored to the patient's need. The bottom line is, the future is prevention, wellness, early detection, and treatment before it goes on to the late stages where intervention may or may not be of any significant impact, because sometimes you go in too late. Well, there is a scar already happened from heart attack, and then you cannot really get much for the buck. Even if you bring blood flow to a scar, it's not going to affect the pumping function of the heart. So in essence, heart disease is preventable, is controllable, is, now we can actually modify the plaque that I mentioned to you to make that layer very resistant and strong so that it can resist fracture. And then we could find out about the plaque and which is the vulnerable one and treat it early to prevent future heart attack. And then we can impact on marked reduction of the cost of life, to be saved, and then from the complications that happen if somebody had, heart attack. And remember, when you have hardening of the arteries, you could have hardening of the arteries from head to toe. It happens everywhere, in the carotid arteries up in the neck, in the heart, in the aorta, in the kidneys, in the legs. So when you do approach these factors, risk factors, you approach head to toe approach to get really multiple benefits from multiple organ protection, along those lines. I hope, that everybody get at least an idea and benefit. You are what you eat. So if you eat healthy, that will prevent this plaque from getting worse. Stay away from what's called the deserts, the food deserts. There's 31 million Americans live in food deserts in America, where it's mostly high rich carbohydrates and high alcohol intake. And those are the people who really, constitute the major complication and the huge hospital and healthcare bills that could be saved. So, and it definitely be saved. And we proved it over the past decade. So I hope this can help people to think prevention and wellness rather than going in and wait for something to happen and play catch up. I hope any questions, I'll be happy to.
I think we're on the short side of time right now because we only got about 3 minutes left in our program. But if anybody would like to call in, certainly we're ready for you guys to call in. We have the phones ready, and the phone number, if you're in the United States, 1-800-971-4383. 1-800-971-4383. If you have any questions about the COVID virus or your heart or anything like this for the doctors, certainly they'll be happy, and they will not send you a bill from this program.
Actually, I was so intrigued. I get an email, Yusha sent me that from someone in England, and about coronavirus and what to do and so on. So certainly anybody from the globe can communicate with Guidus TV, and we'll be happy to communicate back and give you the best advice up to the best of our abilities.
Yeah, all right. That's a good plug for Guidus TV. I think that's a great way for us to, Guidus TV. Yeah, all right. Yeah, there it is. He's telling us right now. It's time to go. Wow. Where's the time go when you're having fun? Dr. Sultan, thank you so much for your efforts tonight. We really appreciate that. And I'll let you be the one who tells everybody to stay guided with
Guidus TV.
Yeah, there we go. Guidus TV. Everybody stay tuned, stay guided. We'll be back tomorrow night. Yes, sir. All right. Worship the Creator, not the creation. That's what Guidus TV is all about. And now we have the new app, Guidus.app. Download the app, and it will take up no space on your device. Works on all devices. All phones, all tablets, all computers, anywhere there's internet, it works. And there's more. If you want to know who that creator is, if you want to share the message of worship the Creator, not the creation, you can just as easily tell anybody, anywhere, download the app. Just go to the browser, type in the word Guidus.app. Simple. Install it, and no ads. no spam, no commercials, no space on your device. Win, 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 all the way around. And if you want to know more about that creator, let me tell you, it's like a pen, a simple pen. That's the story. If you have a pen and I ask you to borrow it, and I'm writing something, and you say, wait a minute, I don't want to leave this guy